Welcome to Season 4 of Casual Camping Podcast, your home for the best camping discussion both in and out of the field. Here are your hosts, Tim and Ade.
It's not Ade and Tim this week, it's just Tim. Only for a brief moment, though. I'm just doing a very fast intro to an incredibly special guest that we've got for you this week. Can't believe that he managed to fit us into his incredibly busy timescale. But enough said, I'm getting out of the way. Here we go. Enjoy this, people. It's something special. All right, here's the cringe bit, Joe. Okay, so you just got to suck this up. Okay, so Joe Robinet is a Canadian outdoor filmmaker and adventurer, best known for his quietly cinematic camping videos. His work centers on solo wilderness trips, canoe travel, and cold weather camping, presented in a calm, reflective style. Joe's storytelling focuses less on instruction and more on the rhythm of life outdoors, drawing viewers in through atmosphere, simplicity, and an obvious respect for nature. So, listeners, wherever you are in the world, welcome to Casual Camping Podcast, Joe Robinet.
Woo! Guys. now that's what the internet tells us about you. How do you feel about that?
I feel like that's better than I could have put it, for sure. So.
Yeah, I mean, AI will do us all out of a job, but it can't go camping, can it?
Right.
That's cool. That's cool. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. It's way the hell over there in Canada. It's absolutely brilliant that you agreed to come on the show. It is our pleasure to have you. Ade was talking before I had to stop him talking before we started recording. Yeah, Ade, you were talking about Joe's latest video in the ice cave. Go on, carry on, fanboy.
The ice cave, yeah. It was one. It's a great video, and I'm just amazed that in Canada you've got things like that. I was like, how does that form? How do you get that?
Yeah, that's a good question. The conditions have to be exactly right. It happens in a bay on Lake Superior, which is the world's largest lake. There might be a bigger, deeper one in Russia, but as far as area, I believe Lake Superior is the biggest in the world. It's like an ocean. You can't even fathom to see across it. It's huge. It has to be very cold. The conditions have to be exactly right. The wind coming in. So what happens is it creates these little like plates of ice that break up with the waves and the wind. And it just kind of, if you picture waves, big waves on the ocean, and it kind of comes back and rolls on itself, and it does that, and it just starts to freeze slowly freeze and bigger and bigger and bigger, and creates these amazing, epic looking caves. And I was able to find a few of them that I could sleep in, but I found one perfect one and ended up camping in it. It was awesome.
It made me nervous the following morning where you saw the water and you were walking in it. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm brave enough for that.
Yeah, it was seeping up from an open spot, and there was still like a couple feet of ice underneath that. It was all slushy, but it surprised the heck out of me too. The night before it wasn't like that, and overnight, which is normally the coldest time, it changed and got all slushy. But yeah, and that's why I kind of gave a little bit of a warning at the end, like, man, maybe don't do this.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, yeah, my van wasn't too far away, and you just be safe.
Yeah.
I think you were asking on the video as to what people want, and I think that's what essentially brought me to you. Here in the UK, we're a small island. We've got some terrific nature, and you can go from one end to the other in a day with full-on driving, and you can see many different parts of the same sort of landscape. But it's really rich. But I don't ever feel that I get to the wilderness, and I think that's what drew me to your videos in the start. That just amazed that, the amount of wilderness that is in Canada. We lived there when we were very young for a time over in British Columbia, which British Columbia's the size of France and Britain together, just one area, with like a tenth of the people in it. So yeah, I think that's the thing that brought me to you and has brought others to you. That you're showing skills, lifestyle, environments that aren't available to a lot of people.
Right. Yeah. I follow a lot of guys from the UK, obviously Ray Mears and Paul Kirtley and people like that, really shaped it for me. But we are very blessed here in Canada to have the amount of what's called Crown Land. And actually that comes over to you guys too, because the Queen, right? That's why it's called Crown Land. Yeah. So it's thousands, hundreds of thousands of hectares. So very much. And we're allowed to use a whole bunch of it. Very blessed. I actually used to live in Southern Ontario, which is right next to Detroit, Michigan, which is a metropolis. No nature in sight. And 2018, I was lucky enough to move my family up to Northern Ontario, where there is all this land, and been taking advantage of it ever since. Now, BC is a different story too. I went out to BC on Vancouver Island to do the show alone, and that blew my mind. The trees out there are enormous. The moss on the ground is crazy. It's completely different than here, but here is amazing as well. I love it.
Brilliant. I've been on Vancouver Island. It's and the trees are huge. The trees are huge on it. It's like a prehistoric, island in its own, isn't it? It's
100%
stunning place. Absolutely stunning place. It's no, it's so why we were talking before about sort of making you make these incredible videos that kind of pull people in. It's does the making of the video ever get in the way of you actually just enjoying yourself? Because I'm forever annoying my brother by saying, can you stop putting tents up without us actually videoing it?
In a very small section compared to you, it was like, why have you not got your video out when you're putting that new tent up?
Well, it's both for me, because I've been doing this for so very long now that it's just second nature, right? I feel when I go out with a guy or whoever, but usually my camping friends are guys. If I go out with my wife, whatever, I'm less inclined to take so much care and pay more attention to filming than I am to just being out there and living it. Especially if it's somebody that I hadn't been out there with before. It's kind of weird too, hold on one second. Hey guys, how you doing? Joe here, type thing on the camera.
Yes.
But it goes hand in hand with it for me when I'm out by myself or out with the dog. It's just normal. And I actually feel naked without my camera when I'm out there by myself.
Right.
Interesting.
I mean, you touch on your dog there, and we've seen a few dogs over the years. Was it Scout, your original dog?
Yeah, Scout made the channel with me. He was the best dog I've ever had in my life. I have pictures all around the house of him. I always said if he lived to be 12, I'd be happy, because he was a large German Shepherd. He lived to be almost 12, just under 12, and he got lymphoma, unfortunately, right after we moved up here, got him out of the city, and that was it for him. But yeah, he's amazing. He's an amazing dog. I had Tripper for a little while, which he was a handful, and I wrote about him in my book about what happened to him. And now I got Wolfie. Wolf is a German Shepherd Husky mix, white dog, and he's different than Scout completely. Scout was never on a leash, even in the middle of the city. If a squirrel ran by, I could just tell him, Scout, stay. Nothing to do with it. Now Wolfie, he's a wild animal who eats dead deers and all sorts of anything you can imagine, feces from any animal, and just happy as hell doing it. And he'll come back. He'll come back at his own leisure. Yeah.
I think the dogs are a big part of what you do as well. And certainly the difference between the UK and that wilderness that we talk about. For me, we have to be on site. There isn't the wilderness. There's 2 or 3 places throughout the UK, either in England or Scotland or Wales. So wild camping is frowned upon on the most part, but you have to be quite tenacious to go find them out, I think. And yeah, just that wildness that is out there is just brilliant. But the dogs, having that companion, even on a site, I put a tent up and Tim couldn't make it at last minute, and I was there for a couple of nights by myself, and I kind of got bored a little bit, and I realised that actually I need the company. I'm a bit of a social kind of person, whereas Tim would go for a week quite happily and just, potter around and stuff. How do you balance those two things? Because you do videos with friends. Do you like one more than the other?
In all honesty, I like being by myself the most. I like my absolute favorite is being out there with the dog, me and the dog, because I still have a companion. He's coming to me for pets. He's coming to me for mainly food. Let's not get it twisted. But I get that companionship with him, which I love. I absolutely do. And I still get to make my own decisions at my own time. It's like when I'm out with a friend or whoever, I feel the need to be not a host because it's not my area, but like check in and see how you're doing. And do you want to leave at this time? Like if say we're on a canoe trip, do you want to leave at 8 a.m. or do you want to sleep in today? Like when I'm by myself, I don't have to make those calls. I don't have to even decide that until the moment of, right? It's like,
yeah, okay,
maybe the night before I'm thinking I'm going to get up and leave early, but then I just sleep in and it doesn't matter, or vice versa. I'm going to stay at this site until lunch. I wake up at 5 o'clock, twiddling my thumbs, freaking ADD kicks in and I'm off on the canoe ready to go.
Yeah,
and with the dog, he's just got to kind of listen. You're supposed to at least.
Yeah. I like that freedom of camping. Don't get me wrong. I love camping with mates and stuff like that, and camping with my other half. But I do get quite a lot. I kind of recharge my batteries a bit more when I'm camping on my own. I did have a dog, so I know where you're coming from with camping with your dog. You do get that companionship and a bit of safety because there's a dog with you. Although my dog was a Cocker Spaniel, so it wouldn't have been very good at protecting me from anything.
Tim, we told you not to talk about a Cocker Spaniel.
yeah. I can't butch that up, can I? No. Oh dear. But they are really good at finding water, though, Cocker Spaniels. But that's another thing. But I know where you're coming from. Actually, camping with the dog, I really miss going camping with the dog. It's I don't know, it's something special. Your relationship with the dog is really special, isn't it? It's and they just give and give and give. It's no, it is very special. It's so what's your so camping on you'd rather go camping on your own. You'd rather do something on your own with the dog. What have you got a favorite? Is it going in a canoe? Is it going minimal tools and minimal skills? Is it do you want to? Are you trying to test yourself every time, or actually is it just about getting out there and enjoying it?
100% is a canoe trip. There's no getting around it at all. I absolutely love canoe tripping, and by canoe tripping, I mean like while I'm out there in the real wilderness, sometimes most of the time I take a float plane, a little tiny float plane that can only hold one canoe at a time on it into the middle of the wilderness, and then I'll paddle myself out. And that could take anywhere from a week, even if I don't fly in, maybe 5 days, 4 days, whatever. I even like doing the overnights, but my ideal thing is a big trip where it's like I'm all by myself or with the dog. I have one backpack, potentially two backpacks for depending on the time, and I'm left to all my own devices. It's like you're getting yourself out of here. You're taking the canoe, you're portaging, which is walking across land, carrying your canoe and your gear, and you're coming up against things that no doubt you're going to get surprised with things. There's always going to be something that you didn't expect, whether or not the portage trail is flooded out because it's high water that time of year and you have to go down farther next to a rapid, which can be dangerous to find your way out, or you come across a black bear in the middle of a portage trail, or whatever it may be, or just for the simple fact that, oh, the blueberries are out early and now I get to eat blueberries. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be some doom and gloom or weird surprise. It's just I like the unknown. I like the fact of being under my own power. You're not in a motorboat. You're paddling yourself in a canoe. You have to be careful for wind. You have to be careful of open stretches of water. Bugs eat me alive. Sometimes my face gets blown up by bugs. But like, there's always ways around it, and you kind of have to figure it out on your own. And that's very rewarding for me. I feel I've never felt more manly than I do feel being out there by myself. And I'm a little skinny guy, you know what I mean? So I like it.
Well, you inspire a lot of us, Joe. To feel a bit more manly and go, God damn it, yes,
I did it.
I've been talking about canoe camping, haven't I, for about 2 years now. I'm pretty desperate to get a canoe. It's really tricky here though in the UK because all the waterways are owned. And a lot of it you can't get out of the water even if you're allowed to go down the water because the riverbank is owned by somebody. So it's really tricky finding places that you can actually do that where there aren't loads of other people all doing the same thing. So you it's almost like a theme park ride that you're going down the river with 10 other canoes, which gets away from what you're trying to do.
Man, you're really making me appreciate what I have here. I've taken it for granted. That's wild. I completely understand what you're saying. I've talked to fishermen over there, and I think it's the same thing. Like, you got to get permission to.
Yeah, every stretch of river is owned, and you can't fish unless you've got a license from that river owner. It's
I think out of all the rivers in the UK, there is only 1/3 that people have access to. 2/3 of all rivers, and there is lots of them, we don't have access to, as in can't even go down as well. So yeah, I think that brings it back to the joy of YouTube and people like yourself that transport you quite easily to one, get out there, two, do your own version of it. And as I said at the start, it's what really got me thinking about, wow, what's my version of that? And I've got 2 nights, I've got a weekend, where am I going, what am I going to do? We've got some beautiful country in the UK. Yes, okay, most of it might be locked down by ownership and whatever, but we can get out there, and it is getting better. There's a lot more wild camping, and that's what I like to do. We also love the kit that comes with it as well.
Oh, me too, for sure, man. That's a whole other thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
collecting gear, like it's a whole hobby in itself.
A couple of years ago, you had a Nortent Coe 7. And I think within a week of seeing your video, I owned that thing. I was like, that's the thing that I want. Yes. But yeah, like my partner was like, hey, so is that your last tent? I was like, there's never a last tent. There'll be always something else that I just I want that. That's gonna be the next great thing until the next one comes along. But it is the kit.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite bit of kit at the moment, Joe?
I like my Durston. I have a lightweight tent made by a guy named Dan Durston. He lives in BC, and he's a backpacking guy. And I take the mentality of backpacking into canoeing because, again, I'm a small guy for real, and I can't carry much on my back coupled with a canoe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the canoes that I have are very lightweight as well. Don't get me wrong, but it's still 30 pounds. So, and what I can carry on my back is about 30 pounds worth of gear. And for some reason, I can carry 30 pounds worth of gear on a backpacking trip, or I can carry 30 pounds worth of gear and a 30-pound canoe at the same time on a portage. So the transfer is so weird. You're not portaging for half the distance that you're going to go on a backpacking trip as. So that makes sense. But just the way it's distributed, I don't know. I can carry about 30 pounds on my back, about a 30-pound canoe. I got my paddles in my hand, and usually have a camera going on, and hustle down that trail. And yeah, so I like I like this. Sorry, I like the tent. Durston. Durston is the brand of the tent. It's made of Cuban fiber, or now I think they call it Dyneema, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Dyneema fabric. Yeah.
Very, very lightweight, and it sets up with 2 hiking poles. It's very, very, very minimalistic, but it fits me and Wolf in it perfectly fine. And I actually had that tent. A couple buddies and I and Wolfie went on a canoe trip a couple falls ago, and we got hailed on, golf ball size hail. No joke. It cracked the canoe and everything. I was in that tent taking shelter from it, and that Dyneema held up to that, just getting pounded by this golf ball size hail. So very, very useful tent, very rugged, durable, but at the same time lightweight, which saves my ass quite a bit, because it's like, I don't know, man, a pound, you know what I mean? So it's like most tents are up there, you know, they could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pounds depending. But for me, I need it to pack down small, and I need it to be very, very lightweight. That, along with this new carbon, they call it a carbon 12. It's a carbon steel frying pan that acts like a cast iron. It has the same properties as cast iron, with weighing a fraction of it. So when I'm on my canoe trips, one of my favorite things to do is catch walleye, pickerel, whatever you want to call them, and deep fry them. I bring oil with breading and deep fry them out there. It's a great meal, and that lets me do it very lightweight as well.
Wow,
brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That's brilliant. I'm just literally looking at those tents.
Yeah, we keep on like we've like got chats going on with various sort of listeners and stuff, and it's like, what's the best excuse that you can come up with, or can somebody take a tent in for me so that I don't have to explain what that parcel is.
They're not massive. Sorry, go on.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, they're not massively expensive either. They're for really lightweight tents. They're they're not £100. They're sort of just under 300. But for an ultra lightweight, hiking tent, that's not.
Are we talking US, no, Canadian, or UK?
No, this is sterling. It's come up on a UK site.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, no, they're very reasonably priced for what quality they are, and honestly, I would attest to them for sure. They are well worth every pound. See
what you did there?
I do have to tell you guys the name brand of that frying pan, though.
Do.
It's another Canadian brand. It's Agawa Gear, AGAWA, and they are. It's one of my. It's actually that is my newest, most favorite piece of kit that I've had for the least amount of time.
Cool.
Ooh, God, I'm going to be searching that when I get off this. Thanks, Joe.
What I'm here for.
That's what I've been watching for, to be honest.
If one of us is spending, we're all spending.
Yeah, somebody got a new tent. I was like, I love a new tent day. Tell us when it turns up. It's nice. It's nice. So we've got a couple more questions before we let you go. Who is it that you follow? I mean, you said Ray. We call him Uncle Ray because we met him a couple of years ago, but not that he knows we call him Uncle Ray. But
he'd probably skin us if he did that.
He would.
Yeah. Who else do you follow?
I really looked up to a gentleman named Mors Kahansky. He was the Canadian godfather of bushcraft. Ray definitely would have trained with him. He's a legit dude, really, really legit. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. He lived to be an old guy though. It looks like it's spelled Kachansky, but you pronounce it Kahansky. He originally wrote this book called Northern Bushcraft, which later on got transferred just into the word bushcraft was the title. But back before the internet, I'm dating myself now. I wanted to learn skills, and I lived in Windsor, again down south next to Detroit, in a city that produced cars and had factories. That's what it was for. There was no nature. It was not like that. But I was able to get that book, and I taught myself the bow drill from that book. The friction fire from a book, not like online telling me like exactly how to do it step by step, by words in a book and some rudimentary drawn pictures. Now, I learned a lot from that dude. Never met him, would have loved to, but just from his book, and that was a huge push for me in the right direction. As far as nowadays, like I also had an instructor who learned from Morris Kahansky. He was American, and he was a SEER guy, search, evasion, rescue. He was in the Army, named Terry Barney. And he has a channel called Iowa Woodsman, and would go down to the States, fly down there, drive down there quite a bit, and take courses from this guy. And he was like salt of the earth, like give you the shirt off his back kind of guy. Bust your balls too, though. You know what I mean? Like a real dude. But like, he was a big inspiration for me, and I learned a lot from him.
What's the one skill that you've got that you're most proud of? That is it the bow drill, because it's a pain to do.
Yeah, it's a bow drill because I quote unquote taught myself from a book way before anything, and I got very proficient with it. I was so into it that like I had a logbook of what woods work together, everything to do with it. Way before anything, way before I was online, way before anybody I knew was online, anything like that. No showing off. This was for me. You know what I mean? Like this was actual skill. I thought, and this is not true, but I thought you learn that you're the best woodsman in the world. You have no fears, nothing. Meanwhile, I couldn't navigate for anything. You know what I mean? Orienteering is pretty important. You know what I mean? Especially for what I do now, going out into the middle of the wilderness and travel around and stuff. And I've gotten pretty good at that. But like, I remember back then thinking like, if I can get this, like nothing's going to stop me. And it did. It really set the bar for me, and it made me just want to advance more and more with every other skill. So 100% friction fire bow drill.
Cool.
I do notice from your videos, right from the early days, you say what you're burning. I mean, one, I'm on site. And two, it's kind of like whatever's there. There's not like if we've got access to woodland, which I've had sometimes, not always, it tends to be just there. And I was like, oh, I should really know what it is I'm burning, but which is kind of, that thing. We've just done an episode on books, which is going out this week, in
the morning.
Yeah, and it is that thing of actually know your surroundings, know the plants, know the stuff that's there that can help you.
I was able to go in 2007. I went to college, and it's actually really close to where I live now. I lived in Windsor in 2007, but me and my wife, who I was still with, I've been with her. I'm 42 this year. I think I've been with her since I was 17. She's an amazing woman. We have a good life together. We both moved up to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, to go to college together in 2007 and moved back down and had a whole life or whatever. But when we went up there, I took a natural resources program. And I had an amazing teacher named Don Hall, and he was like Gandalf. He was like Gandalf and Obi-Wan. It was perfect. He taught us trees and plants and stuff. And the way he taught was this thing called bizarre association, and it just stuck in my weird ass brain. It just stuck. And that was one of the best things I ever did. Like, we learned all sorts of stuff, but his method of teaching really, really worked with me. And that's how I know all of my trees. I know a lot of the scientific names for the trees still, plants, what to use, what's poisonous, what not to touch. And very thankful for that as well.
That's brilliant. Plant recognition is massively important. More so when you're going off in the wilderness and doing some. How much sort of foraging do you really do when you're out there?
If I'll make teas out of things that I know are safe to make teas out of for the most part. I don't mess with mushrooms at all.
Yeah, we say that. Scary stuff. Those things will kill you.
Worth it. Yeah, it's not worth it at all. I had a dog that ate some one time and like got very, very sick. And then I could tell, I didn't know what he got sick from, but later on in life, when we're walking past mushrooms, he would always give him a wide berth, walking way around him. So he knew too.
Do it once, not twice.
Right. But like I said, blueberries for sure. wintergreen, but that's tea as well. But then fishing, and then like I've been through the survival stuff too, not so much bushcraft, like the survival stuff where you're eating bugs and things like that. But like, yeah, in the right time of year, I love to forage what I can, what I know is safe.
Yeah. That's probably the key message, isn't it? With foraging, it's only forage what you really know is safe and what you really trust. It's a massive skill in and of itself, isn't it? And you've really got to try it. You've got to hone those skills and be an expert in it really to be safe.
I think that the best way to do it is honestly even to pay for like a nature hike type thing with a guy who knows the deal and show you in person. It's different learning in books. Things can change with the seasons that look completely different.
Yeah. And two plants can look really similar, and only like a proper guide is going to tell you those subtle differences, aren't they, of what to look out for.
And one can knock you on your ass, and the other one can be great for you.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the mushroom world all in, for everything that's like, oh, this is super, there's something that mimics it, which has always kind of gone, I'm not that interested in mushrooms then, because I would get it wrong. But
it's not worth messing around, I don't think.
No. Particularly when you're so far away from any kind of assistance. What are you first aid kits, sat phones, things like that? What are you sort of carrying to make sure that you're always you can get yourself out of trouble if you get into it?
Oh, is that what your wife insists you should take with you, just so she can find you if she needs to?
Well, I have definitely been in some situations in the wilderness. I got shingles the one time in the bush, and I was on a canoe trip, and that was really bad. My eyes swelled shut completely, and I almost lost it. I was going to say shingles is bad anyway, but facial shingles is it's often a medical emergency, and it's I work in the NHS. I do healthcare stuff, so that's bad. That's really bad. Got it. They call it quadrant 4 or something. I got it all here, and I'm scarred from it in between my eyes. Wow. It was when my brother passed away, and I went into the middle of the wilderness to try to cope with it, and it hit me, and it was peak black fly. I don't know if you guys know what black flies are. Probably very bad, way worse than mosquitoes, but millions and millions and millions and millions of them eating me all the time, and then there was mosquitoes on top of it. So I was afraid that it was that. I thought it was that at first. Turned into this big scab, and my eyes swelling shut. So I knew it wasn't that. I knew I had to get myself out of there. I had an 8-day trip planned. I cut it short in 4, and I was lucky I was able to paddle out into a spot where I could get picked up. Called a friend, but I was worried that when I went to the hospital, they were just going to say, "Oh, you got black flies," but black fly bites. But as soon as I walked in, the doctor pointed at me, looked at me. He goes, "You have shingles, and you needed antiviral medication in 72 hours, or you could potentially lose your eye." Now it had been like almost a week at this point.
Oh,
wow. Yeah. But to answer your question, definitely a first aid kit. And I never rely on a store-bought first aid kit. I always want to personalize it for myself.
Well done. You are a professional.
I wouldn't go that far, but it's like you know what you need. You know what I mean? Could be a lot of useless things or duplicates of things that you don't need.
Yeah.
And why waste the space and wait in that when you could double up on things that you definitely know you need. So that, along with an inReach from Garmin inReach allows me to text satellite, like via satellite, any kind of help that I would need. I get weather reports on it. It lasts. I don't keep it on ever. I keep it off until I need it, and it'll last me a month if I do it that way. Like the battery, it's
brilliant.
very handy thing to have. They even have the mini now that you can use with your phone. They didn't have that when I bought it, or maybe they did. I just didn't. I don't know. But I have the big one, and it gives you all sorts of even the GPS on it and everything. It's a very, very handy thing. And what I've been guilty of in the past, which I've changed recently. I went on a 19-day canoe trip this year, and it was my biggest trip out by far ever. I wrote a book on it, and it was a life-changing experience. But I realized during that trip that if it's in my backpack, it does me no good. You know what I mean? I'm in the water in a canoe, portaging, whatever the case may be. Sometimes I have to leave my gear and find the portage via GPS and leave my gear halfway through the portage. It's like, if I don't make it back to that, I'm screwed, right? Or if it goes in the water or whatever the case may be. So I always keep it in my pocket now. And I should have been doing that from the get-go. But you learn with age. I'm 42. I'm still learning.
We're always learning. We're always learning.
And if you're not, you're just not admitting it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So that's very important. It's a lifeline. I get to text my wife and my kids, I love you, I had a good day, good night type thing. What I don't do, and I don't want ever, is to, and my wife is so awesome. She knows this. Oh, honey, I had a bad day today type thing. I don't want to hear that out there, because it makes me need to come home, feel like I need to come home even more. Like it's strictly for checking in, making sure everything's good on my end, making sure everything's good, actually good on her end. No little nonsense. I don't bother her with like, oh, I got bit up by flies today, I feel like shit. Like it's not like that at all. It's just like, I'm safe, you're safe, I love you, goodbye type thing. And she's totally cool with that.
Really nice. Yeah.
That's cool. And that preserves your battery then, doesn't it, for even longer, if you're not taking it with loads of chit chat.
And it preserves my mental battery.
Yeah, totally. So you mentioned your book there. We got to name drop the book. It's Surviving Joe is available from all booksellers, and it's available over here in the UK on Amazon. Why the book? Why the book?
I've lived a life, I got an offer to write it. I got approached to write it a while ago, maybe a couple years ago, and it was after a big accident that I had, and I was in a coma and I had brain damage and nerve damage and all sorts of fun stuff. And
so pleased to see you through that, Joe. So pleased to, I
appreciate that. Yeah,
I know how tough that is. I've seen the videos, and my heart goes out to you. I know how, but yeah, so pleased.
Yeah, it was a bad thing, but like most things in my life, it turned around to be a good thing at the end of the day. I have my hand back completely. It feels weird. It's numb a little bit, but I can flip paper. I can pick up a penny off the ground. There was a point, boys, where I couldn't even peel a banana. Me, you know what I mean? Who's very self-sufficient in life and in the wilderness and stuff. And that was a very low point for me. I thought I wasn't going to be able to provide, protect, play with my kids, none of that stuff, right?
And yet you still put videos out. I remember that one that you were trying to do one-handed firelighting. And, I was just, you could see the raw emotion there of what you were going through.
Yeah, it was a big deal. It felt like a life ending thing. It was definitely a life changing thing. Yeah. So I was still a little messed up from everything when I got the offer to write the book, and I agreed it because for the longest time, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being a YouTuber. I love my job. I'm happy to be a YouTuber, but I wanted to be something more for a long time, right? An author seems like you're really cementing yourself. It's a little bit more of a career or more of a legacy even, you know what I mean, for my children. So it's like I've done TV shows, and at that point that I've done YouTube and TV shows. So I wanted to be an author, and I used to love reading all the time, and I still do. And I had never really tried my hand at writing. So I accepted that offer. I just wasn't in the right frame of mind. And then I went out on a couple big trips, and I was journaling so much. And this is a couple years after, this was early 2025 spring. And I was journaling every day, getting back into journaling, really, really, really descriptive and loving it. I was out for 2 weeks at that time. And I thought, I was like, you know what? I never wrote the book because there's so many distractions at home, and I just couldn't get in the right frame of mind and stuff. I'm a family man for sure. And, I'm out there and I'm thinking like, I can write this book, but I need to be out here. Like I'm not going to write it at home. It's about my life completely. And there's a lot of sore spots and a lot of highs and lows and stuff. And I just don't want to do that at home, and I can't do it at home, but out here I can do it. I feel like myself. I feel so real out here. Everything is so magnified out here. And I feel like Joe out here more so than anywhere. And so I did that. I went home and I wrote the publisher an email who offered to want the book written. And we agreed upon everything. And I went back out, and I had planned on being out there for a month. And I brought like so many notebooks and like 7 or 8 pens, and I was just ready to do it, and enough food for almost a month. And I'd catch fish and supplement that way. And I did, and I wrote the book, and I traveled every day, and I journaled about the trip itself that I was on, and I intertwined it in the book. And that I've heard from people that makes it an easy read. It's it flows pretty good, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was able to do that, and I was able I completed the book in 19 days, and I had only been out for 12 days. That was my biggest trip before that, and that was a couple years before. So, and I knew I couldn't do this with my dog either. I really needed to focus on it or whatever. So I was completely alone. And yeah, I was able to do it. I completed it in 19 days, and I was missing my family like crazy, especially because I'm writing about them every day and how much I love my girls, my wife, and everything. Right. So it's like when I was done that book, I was done. Like I felt like that my mission was done, and my trip was done. It was all culminating at the same time. It was perfect. Ran out of pens, ran out of books, all at the same time. Exactly what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to happen the way it did. And yeah, I talked to my brother quite a bit on that trip. I talked to God quite a bit on that trip. I little small miracles every now and then on that trip, and it was exactly what I needed. I stopped drinking alcohol on that trip. I had been abusing alcohol for quite some time, and day one I stopped, and it was early June, and I haven't since. And it's like, for me, that was important. You know what I mean? I had actually started to black out after my accident. I had brain damage, and I was in a coma and stuff. So even a few beers, I would black out, and that's dangerous. You know what I mean? I have a family to think of. I can't be doing something stupid, like accidentally get into a car crash, God forbid, or whatever the case may be. I don't know what I'm doing when I'm blacked out, right? Yeah. So it was important. It changed my life, that trip. And that book, writing that book, was very healing. It was very, it was exactly what I needed. You know what I mean? And I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the reception I've got from that book. It's a bestseller on Amazon. I've sold a ton of books. I did a meet and greet at a big outdoor show last month, and I signed and sold so many books there too. It was a good feeling. It was a very, very good feeling.
Oh, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. 19 days to write a whole book. I mean, that's like, but yeah, you were in the zone. Yeah.
I was journaling and writing every morning and every night, and I was thinking about what I was going to write every day as I was traveling. Like, really, I still traveled 8 hours a day for most days. You know what I mean? I'm talking hard ass shit, and I was getting eaten by bugs, and it was hot and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I wrote like 70,000 words pen to paper.
Amazing.
Did you, when you got back, did you have to type that up, or did you give that to your editor to do that?
No. My poor editor, my poor publisher had to decipher my chicken scratch, my 3-year-old chicken scratch. Thank God he could do it, because he had to ask me quite a few things, what they meant and what I was trying to say or whatever. But he was very good about it. And yeah, like had to touch up some of my dummy words a little bit too, you know what I mean?
But I bet they were quite surprised that you came back with so much in such a short time, were they?
Yeah, when I told him, I don't think he even still believed me. And I traveled far down to Windsor again, actually, that's where he was from, and I hand delivered it, because those books were like gold to me. I was not going to mail those books. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I kept them safe through rain and thunderstorms and all sorts of shit on that trip, and I was not going to just mail it and leave it up to the
no way. Have you
put it into the ether?
Have you still got them? Did you get them back?
Yeah. I got them back at that show last month. I made sure they brought them back, and they're important to me. You know what I mean? That's my own words before they're doctored up. And there was things in there that didn't make the book, and there's things in there that I need to look back on in my life and remember things for sure.
Yeah. And you know, when we're old and we can't get out in the hills, they're great things to open up, aren't they? And have a look through and pass on to the kids. You know, it's amazing stuff to pass on to kids, stuff like that.
Yes, sir. That's exactly my point of view.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. Really cool.
Well, Joe, I think we've kept you long enough. I mean, I could talk all day, all evening as it is here, but we're sure you're so busy. It's been an absolute pleasure. That book again, for anybody that is thinking of a new read, Surviving Joe, it is on Amazon. It is in all good bookshops. So find it. You know it's there. It's certainly worth a read.
Yeah.
No,
it'd be great, you know, if at some point we could get you over to the UK. We go to
have you ever thought about coming over here?
definitely. I was invited to the Bushcraft show a couple times.
We're going.
You know some people, Joe.
We can make this happen.
I would love to come over there. I know I have a good subscriber base over there.
Do.
And I really like the UK guys for sure a lot. We should definitely make that happen.
My God.
We know there's a few of the Bushcraft show organisers are fans of the show, so who knows? It might not happen for this year, but maybe for next year, it would be a great thing. You would be an excellent speaker there as at the show.
I would absolutely love to come. I haven't traveled nearly enough, and honestly, the same thing for you guys. Like, if you want to go on a real trip, man, I'll take you guys out. You know.
Oh my God!
Right, okay. We'll see you in the morning. Thank you. That's really appreciated. Tim's desperate to go on a canoeing trip, and
I got canoes for all.
Man. Yeah. Okay. We do need to sort.
We'll try not to bother you too much about that one, but we do need a return. Yeah, we do need a return trip to Canada sometime, don't we?
Yeah, we definitely do. It's Joe, thank you so much for giving up your time today. We know you're a really busy man, but it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you. Thank you very much.
Of course, pleasure's all mine, guys. I appreciate it.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
How is that, people? Oh my God. I hope that was as good for you as it was for us. I feel like we've been touched in some way. Obviously, my jokes don't work when there isn't Ed on the other hand, kind of laughing at me, but never mind. Got a mediocre 5-star review that I have to read out, even though my brother isn't here. This is from George Beckingham. Out of all the podcasts I listen to, I go back constantly to older episodes and I'm never not entertained. So my pleasure maybe that could be a mediocre 5-star review. Of course it is a mediocre 5-star review. You can send one in by following, there's a link in the show notes, or send us a direct message in any of our social media posts. What George has done is something quite incredible. George has actually sponsored the show. So in the show notes, there's a support the show link. And George has very, very, very kindly started to sponsor the show, which helps us keep this going, this machine going, because it doesn't happen for free. And as you know, we're not sponsored. So thank you very much, George. We're incredibly, incredibly grateful for you. You doing that. That's like blowing my mind a little bit today that you've done that. So genuinely, thank you very much, George. If anybody else would like to do that, then that would be absolutely amazing. So just have a look in the show notes or wherever you're listening. There'll be a little link on there that says support the show, and you too can keep this machine rolling because, it doesn't happen for nothing. But thank you, George. Really, thank you very much. Thank you again to Joe Robinet for his time in dialing into us here in the UK. What a legend. Genuine legend. And Ade and I will be back next week. We are at Outdoor and Social from Monday, and that is going to be an incredible episode that you're going to want to tune into. So we will get our stuff together, and we'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Casual Camping Podcast accepts no liability and does not officially recommend any products or endorse any techniques discussed in an individual podcast episode or shown on Casual Camping Podcast social media accounts. Individuals should make their own informed decision and risk assessment of any products or advice prior to any purchase or use.